So one of my spiritual issues, shall we call it, is about boundaries. And everyone has this issue, but if you're doing, let's call it light work, you know this, Judy, you attract people around you who are them. You might say, oh, they're attracted to your light. No, what they're attracted to is your energy, because you're basically like a free energy battery for other people.
Well, you're actually like a beacon of light is what it is, I think.
Yeah.
It's almost like you shining so bright that they're like the bug, they're attracted to it.
Yeah. Not in like I'm a famous star type of way.
No.
I mean, I like the privilege, but I'm not, it's not in that type of way. It's in your light can keep other people running without them having to access light directly for themselves. And this is a hard lesson for people, because you can feel literally drained for years, tired, despondent's the wrong word, but not motivated, you're too tired to take things on type of way. So what you have to do is cut cords. And you have to start saying, no, I do not consent to having, to other people utilizing my energy and my light. You have to go and use your own light. You have to stop using mine. I am not a source of your energy. And you can ask for help. You can ask archangels or angels, any beings of light, goddesses. But if you don't do that, and you become aware of it, then that's consenting to let other people using your energy, and you'll just get more and more tired. You know this, don't you, Judy?
Well, I think it relates to people that you continually, they've got to be somebody that you have some kind of relationship with. Otherwise, they wouldn't be draining you. Because they're constantly, like maybe a coworker or...
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have to be in a physical relationship with someone for them to be draining your energy.
No, of course not. I'm saying like a coworker.
Yeah.
It's not just like a random stranger draining your energy. It's somebody that keeps coming back at you or is interacting with you consistently. That's draining your energy in some way.
So one of the biggest ways that it works is you are in some sort of a relationship, formal or informal, with a person who has narcissistic tendencies. And we all know what they are. They're someone who's self-interested. They're in the middle. The world revolves around them, and you're there for their entertainment, for their purposes. They're not here for yours. So your needs will never be met if you're in a relationship with a narcissist.
Right.
That's not how it works.
There's no balance.
No. So you may recognize this or you may not, but if you Google narcissism or narcissist, are you in a relationship with a narcissist, you will find thousands of videos on it, and you'll be in no doubt. There's a list of about 20 typical characteristics of a narcissist. But if you're in that relationship, then the other side to that is that you're in some form of victimhood, as in you're playing the role to balance that energy out. So once you recognize this, and you might not consciously even recognize it, but once you start to feel like not all of your energy is your own, and it's not, you're not in your own boundaries, you're going to have to start creating boundaries around you, because otherwise it will just continue. That people will, it's like if you imagine you're standing a meter away from someone, and then they step in and they come into your personal sphere, your personal space, it's like someone doing that constantly. They're always in your personal space. And if it was a physical representation, as in someone kept coming into your personal space, you would say, could you move, outside of my personal space, please? You wouldn't let them just stand beside you all day, because it would drive you nuts. But it's the same, but it's an energetic standing in your personal space. So you've got to find ways to stop that happening.
And how would you suggest that?
Well, awareness is obviously the first thing, to start to recognize it. If you're with someone, and you might be on the phone to them, you might be on a Zoom meeting with them, you might be physically with them in a physical presence. If you notice that your energy is drained when they're around you, then that's a pretty good indicator, because you will start to feel it.
I would also say an easier way to notice it is when you ask them how they're doing, if they're interested in how you're doing. Because 9 times out of 10, they aren't going to care how you're doing. They aren't going to care what's going on in your life. They don't want to hear about it, because everything revolves around them. And how you're feeling or what you're doing doesn't revolve around them. So they aren't going to ask you. It's kind of like a two-way street. That's
a classic trait of a narcissist, is self-interest.
Yep.
But self-interest to extreme.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I think I know I have had that. I've been fortunate enough not to have it in like a love relationship, but I've had it in friend relationships.
Yeah.
And workplace relationships as well, which I think is even harder, because that's a whole nother game.
But to say this, it's more prevalent now than ever, this narcissist victimhood. It's a program that many of us will encounter in our lifetimes, if not, a section of it in whole life.
Well, I think what's attributed to that is the social media. I hate to say it, but
yeah,
it's true. The social media has really accelerated it, I guess is a good way to put it.
But it's important, when you do feel that, oh, this person actually, they don't energize me, they make me tired. It's important to then start to keep that awareness and start to create boundaries, even if the boundaries are as basic as speaking to them less or having less to do with them, but severing a friendship gradually, because as soon as you start to pull away, they'll start to pull on the like this. They'll start to sort of pull on your reins and say, "Oh no, you're not going anywhere. You're coming back."
Right. Yeah.
And that is
exactly how it works. You're their audience. Yeah, they don't want to lose you.
So, I mean, this is a whole lifetime's lesson, but basically, boundaries are extremely important, and they are becoming more important over time, because the energies and the frequencies are so high anyway that you're going to need your energy.
Yeah, and there's other ways than just narcissism. There's other boundaries are way more than just that.
Yeah.
As far as being used by somebody for whatever, various different things. And they're not a narcissist. They just take advantage of you. And you got to set boundaries for that as well. So there's lots of different, besides just, I just want to make that clear, that it's not just in that one area. It can be in lots.
Yeah, you know what, Judy, you could do a whole course on this. It's so important, and it's never been more important than right now. Never.
Oh yeah. Well, it's got to be taught young too. The younger it's taught, the better. Seriously. I mean, it can be taught to any age, but I'm just saying it's easier for someone to learn it when they're younger, because it'll save them a lot of agony, let's say, throughout their life. And it'll be firmer, it'll be stronger. This is the kind of stuff that should be taught in school, really. The life lessons That
It is. I mean,
uh,
what you don't want to do is get, have to cut yourself off from all your family, lose all your friends, go through a few divorces,
sounds familiar.
isolate yourself in work. You don't want to go through a very long, painful process before you suddenly, someone says to you, "Oh, I think you've got an issue with boundaries."
Well, exactly. Well, this is what I'm saying. If you get them while they're young, then they know those boundaries and they can't be taken advantage of, and they won't have, like you said, all those pitfalls.
No.
They'll have other pitfalls, I'm sure, because that's a guarantee. That's life. But they won't have those. But it doesn't mean you're ever too old to learn them either. I don't want to
No.
say that either or project that, because you can always, and it's all goes back to, are you willing? Because if you aren't willing, it doesn't matter. It's that old. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink.
Well, I know for a fact that most people, if they woke up one day and they had healthy boundaries and they cut all those cords and they no longer had people in their life who were, you know, not a positive impact, shall we say, I think they'd feel fantastic. I think they'd be like, whoa, why didn't I do this years ago?
Oh, I agree. But I'm just saying that a lot of people don't. They
No.
think they do. This is where I'm getting with the horse to water, but can't make him drink. They think they do, but then when it comes to actually doing it, they don't. And they'll come up with umpteen reasons why not, instead
Yeah.
of just doing it. It takes a brave soul. It really does. And it is,
Well,
you'll feel way better afterwards once you cut that cord and eliminate that energy drag, say, shall we say.
now's a good time to be brave. That's all I'm saying.
Get your brave heart out. Yep. And we all have one.
Brave heart.
Yep. Definitely. No doubt about it. We need it.